All right, guys, today we're talking about the elephant in the room, and that is SIG Sauer and the P320 debacle, just the overall issues that the brand is having in general, and kind of what my thoughts are on it, what I'm doing about it. So here we are. Welcome to my channel. I'm the Korean Marksman. My name's Ben. And if you guys are new here, we talk about guns, concealed carry preparedness, kind of stuff that you can implement into your life, review guns, things like that. So thanks for stopping by. And without further ado, let's talk about the SIG situation, the situation. Obviously, there have been many issues throughout the past years, starting kind of with the P320 not being, being drop safe on paper, and then issues of it not being drop safe anymore, and then SIG offering to fix customers' guns to remedy that issue. Okay, cool. And then after that, that's when the holster discharges began to creep in. Every now and then you'd hear about incidences with police officers especially, problems on flat ranges, things like that. And it's kind of gotten to a head now. It seems like the amount of issues make it seem impossible to deny that something is up with SIG's P320. Their response has been interesting, to say the least. I think they are in a hard position, but I think it's important to recognize that no one necessarily put them in that position but themselves. I myself was a 320 owner. I had the 320 X5 Legion. I owned it for probably about 6 months, maybe a little bit more. And I did carry it appendix, and I would not do that today, I can tell you that. I'm glad I got rid of it. It was a fun gun. It shot nicely. I bought it based on DJ Shipley's recommendation of kind of a stock X5 is my favorite handgun out of the box to shoot. I did like it a lot. I honestly, it was a super sexy gun. It kind of felt like a poor man's 2011 of sorts. For me, I just sold it to get more guns in the channel, but I am kind of glad that I don't have it currently. And if I did, I definitely wouldn't be carrying it, like I said. When I had it, it was reliable. It shot nicely. I didn't have any issues with it. Thank God I still have my junk. Thank God I didn't shoot anybody with it being holstered. Some of my other experiences with SIG are having owned the P365 line. I've had multiples of those, 365 XL, 365X, the regular 365, and then I've also had a 365 Xmacro. And I had never had any issues with those guns related to anything that resembled a safety concern. So as of now, I still do have a 365 Xmacro build, kind of, very modified, and kind of tabled it for concealed carry temporarily. Allegedly having the trigger safety of, here, let me just show you guys. This is the lower. Having the trigger safety of the Tyrant CNC, in theory, should give it an added layer of safety that might prevent an issue in terms of discharging uncommanded discharges. And I know, so obviously the 365s haven't, to my knowledge, had a unholstered or a holstered discharge, guns not going off on its own, but I have seen people on YouTube able to depress the trigger, take up some slack there, not pull the trigger, and then shake it, smack it, kind of wiggle it around, and then the gun goes off. So obviously both trigger module systems are similar, but the designs themselves are pretty different. So I do feel a little bit better, but I just kind of, based on the response, I mean, there have been multiple lawsuits. I think only a couple of them have ended with SIG having to pay them out. But just based on how things are looking right now, I kind of want to take a step back from my SIG guns for carry. And that's pretty unfortunate because I actually like the guns that the company makes. I think the P226 is like a grail gun for me. I've never shot it before, but the history around it, the reliability, ironically, around it, is awesome to me. Obviously, like I said, I enjoyed the 320 X5 Legion. I've loved the 365 lineup. That was my first gun ever, and the first handgun I had ever shot. And so that kind of has a special place in my heart. Additionally, SIG is releasing their new P211, their very first stab at the double stack 2011, double stack 1911, sorry, kind of game. And on paper, it looks to be a freaking awesome gun. The aesthetics are great in my opinion. I know some people disagree. The compensator looks great. The fact that it has a Series 80 trigger, so there's a firing pin block, and in theory, should be drop safe. It takes 320 mags. There's a lot of things to like about that gun. The price is relatively reasonable for what you're getting, I think. And I think I'm gonna have to, if I do get my hands on it, not carry it, and be careful how I treat it until I see kind of further testing, further experiences from other people on its safety. Because at this point, it does feel like the company has lost trust in the consumers, and the kind of the denial of issues, the "it ends today" campaign. I think those things are really, really pushing people away from the company as a whole, not necessarily even just away from the P320, which is interesting. And so I'm at a tough place because I don't have any affiliations with the company. I did ask them for a 211 marketing sample, probably a 1 in a million chance they would ever send me one. Because here I am saying I'm not going to carry it until I feel confident that it's not going to blow up my junk. But I think I need to take that stance for me, like not even just for optics of having a YouTube channel and of not being a SIG shill, but of like, okay, my life isn't worth that. Carrying a cool gun to look cool and be cool, or I don't even know. But my junk also is definitely not worth that. It's been really interesting to see the internet responses, especially from people who are deeply ingrained in the gun community. So let me pull up a quote here from Bruce Gray with Gray Guns Precision. I mean, in the past, it sounds like he's done amazing work. I've never met the guy, I've never gotten any of his stuff, but people have had very positive things to say about Bruce Gray's work up until him releasing a 13.5-minute video online, kind of talking about the 320's performance. You guys have probably seen it, so if you haven't, just go check it out. Maybe I just dove to the comment sections. In the video, he does make the remark kind of alluding to the fact that anyone saying bad things about the P320 is a paid influencer and is somehow being incentivized to do that. But I would dare say the exact opposite of anyone who's defending the P320 is legitimately a paid influencer, if not directly from SIG. Like maybe Bruce Gray isn't getting paychecks from SIG, I don't know. But his business model stands on SIG. And at the end of the day, even if the guns are safe, even if the guns are safe, the risk versus reward just doesn't seem to be worth it. I mean, like, what is a human life worth to you? Because at this point, Airman died, what was he, like 21, 24, something like that? Died from a P320 incident. And so I think at the very least, it's worth saying, okay, we should probably take a pause on this, figure out what's going on here, give companies the opportunity to do research, do testing, figure out what issues are, and validate the concerns of their customers instead of denying and gaslighting. Like, even from a business standpoint, it just doesn't work these days. Like, you can't be intellectually dishonest like that anymore with social media, with everybody having a amplified voice. There's an appetite out there for authenticity, for honesty, for no bullshit, and if people smell it, they're out of there. They're out of here. I'm interested to see. I feel like we're in the final phase of the 320 issue. I'm interested to see how things continue to play out. I mean, SIG is suing Washington, the state, over a decision they made to no longer have their law enforcement training kind of hub centers, people banning 320s in those facilities. The P320s are cool. I mean, they're cool guns. They have a lot of variants that look cool. The aftermarket is kind of there. But I think if you're looking for a gun that satisfies that hunger or whatever boxes it checks for you, I would dare say there are other options out there that would be worth looking into. The one that comes to mind for me is the Springfield Echelon. That's because I've had that gun in my hands. I've owned it. I've shot a couple different versions of it. I've modified it, and it's a great platform. It doesn't have quite the support out there or quite the aftermarket parts available, but it's getting there. I mean, there are chassis systems being built out for it. Coming to market pretty soon. There are a bunch of, grips and fun accessories that you can do, porting jobs that you can get custom done and things like that. So it seems as if that gun is very well tested and the safety is not a concern there. For me personally, right now my Xmacro is out of commission. I dropped the slide and something got bent up, so now it literally will not go back on the rails here. But once I have it in working condition, I think I'm gonna be doing that little shake test just to see if I can trust like my gun itself. And that might help to inform a decision. I don't know. And that might help to inform a decision of whether or not I continue to carry it. So stay tuned for that, I guess. So I don't think SIG intended to come out with an unsafe weapon, but I think that, I guess, lack of bad intentions, it doesn't really matter anymore because of the way that they've handled it. Blaming Safariland holsters, of just pointing fingers to everybody except for themselves. I think that has been a major dropping of the ball. Because for me personally, if something wrong happens in my environment, in my vicinity, I tend to try and look inwards of, okay, sure, maybe these people had some level of involvement, but what was I personally responsible for? And I would really appreciate it if a gun company, especially one as big as SIG, would take a very similar approach. And perhaps that therein lies the problem of just how big they are, of how many contracts they have, of, you know, we got this big now, if we say anything, it's gonna absolutely blow us up and perhaps, you know, take us down. So instead of taking responsibility, it seems as if they're gonna drag it out until their hand gets kind of forced, until they no longer have a choice in the matter. And that decision gets made for them, which is unfortunate because I think, you know, as men, it's our responsibility to come clean about things on our own terms. And being sorry for sorry's sake, being sorry for the damage and how lives have been impacted, as opposed to being sorry for getting caught. Man, I really kind of took a shot and said, yeah, I'm definitely not getting that P211. That's fine, because maybe you won't even be buying it. I don't know. I definitely don't want to buy any SIGs until all of this stuff kind of gets settled and the 320 issue gets resolved one way or another. So I will be keeping my finger on that pulse. Sorry guys for kind of the rant style, no B-roll, nothing fancy. I just wanted to dump my thoughts out here, get that out to you. I'd like to thank some supporters of the channel. We got Civivi Knives. They make some sick stuff. They sent me out a few ones in the recently. In my experience, they tend to be a little bit like brittler as blades themselves. This thing is so friggin' sharp. I can just go zoop and glide through it like a butter knife. So I do actually really love their knife. Also, Echo. They make these hydrogen water bottles. This is their newest one. It's called the Echo Flask. I think 12 ounces of water. It's got like a Bluetooth app that kind of tracks your consumption, makes recommendations based on how many you've had in a day. And this thing's awesome, guys. It's a little expensive. This is a great addition to my daily routine. Worst case scenario, I know sometimes the benefits of hydrogen water is very controversial. A lot of people are just saying that it's fake stuff, and I don't know. I haven't done the studies, I haven't even looked at the papers, I just kind of trust influencers. But worst case scenario, like this thing is helping me to drink more water because I'm thinking about my water intake a lot more closely than if I would just out of a regular Nalgene bottle or something like that. Of course, the quality of the water you put into it does matter, so I put reverse osmosis and remineralized water into this. Unless I'm at work, then I'll just put the frickin' drinking fountain water in there and call it a day. Yeah, I do have a 10% off code in the description below if you're interested in getting one, picking one up. So thanks to Echo for being new partners of the channel. And yes, it is an affiliate link, and I will make a small commission off of it. I think it's 5%, 10%, I can't remember. I'm a terrible spokesperson. To wrap things up, if you guys have a 320, a 365, any SIG guns in general, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys gonna be doing? I'm not saying that my approach is correct, so I'd love to hear what other people are doing out there. I do hope that with my stance, I'm not coming off as like a SIG shill or an absolute SIG hater. I'm just taking the facts that I've heard and the experiences that seem to be actually happening in the real world, and I'm just trying to kind of form my opinion based on that. So I'll see you guys in the comments. I'm sure it's gonna be a full-time job for me. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate your guys' time. As always, God bless you and your families. Stay safe out there, and remember to live a life worth defending. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.